Alright, so for the first time on AvgJoeWatchReviews, we are doing a review on a Tag Heuer. If you didn't see the last video that I posted, it actually talks about why the hate for Tag Heuer. So I wanted to actually bring a watch onto the channel to show you an actual Tag Heuer and see for ourselves what it is that causes all the, I don't know, the hate, I guess you could say, or the disdain, or whatever you want to call it. But here it is today in its glory. We have one of their top models, which is the AquaRacer. Now, the box itself, I mean, it's great. You know, there's nothing to really write home about. I mean, it's a pretty standard case for a $3,000 watch. As you see here, these are going to be $3,300. I want to give a shout out to Saltzman's Watches. I want to really give them a shout out, and also if you like this watch or you like luxury watches, definitely check them out down below. I'm going to put them in the description and let them know that Average Joe sent you. I would definitely appreciate that. So let's take a deep dive into this Tag Heuer here. And I'll tell you what, one thing that does stick out to me is that it is finished very nicely. Look at that chamfered edge right there. Very, very nice. So I love that contrast. And when you look at this case, you see like this little bump out. That's a very unique feature on these AquaRacers. Now, the other thing that stuck out to me when I first got this watch was the bezel. Let's take a listen to the action. Not a fan, guys. It's not ultra tight. It's a little bit looser than I like. It's also a little bit more clanky, and there is not too bad on the back play. You know, I was giving this bezel a harder time before, but even when I hit it though, it just doesn't feel like quality to me. Nor does it sound like it. It's a little bit clanky, and to listen to that, it's a little loose when you go when you can actually wiggle that bezel around a little bit. So not a fan of that. Just not a fan of the bezel altogether. I just think it doesn't feel or sound like a quality $3,000 watch bezel, just being completely honest. With that aside though, I have to admit that there's a lot of things to like about this watch. I do like this date here, and as you notice though, this date window, it does have some magnification, yes, but it's flat. It's flat on that crystal. That's pretty cool. Like this magnifier, it's definitely underneath, so that's a very interesting touch, I must admit. Now, the dial itself has that Aqua Terra look with the horizontal striping looking like they're boards going across, and I like that look a lot. And the contrasting yellow is really a nice touch too. It gives it a little bit of that racer feel, which is exactly what this watch is portraying. So nice job there. You also get that 1,000 feet of water resistance, which is plenty of water resistance for a diver, so definitely nice there. This is, going back to the bezel, this is a ceramic bezel, and you do get a loomed triangle there. Everything is Swiss Luminova. Show you guys a loom shot here. Now, what's powering this AquaRacer is the Calibre 5, and it's going to offer you a 38-hour power reserve. In this day and age, I feel as though when you're paying $3,000 for a watch and you're seeing watches in this price range with, power reserves in the 70s and even 80s. Like, I expect at least a little bit more of a power reserve. I think 38 is like, it's just old school, and I think in this day and age, for me personally, I think you got to bump that up a little bit. Let's at least get a 48 hour or more out of this movement. So I feel like that the power reserve is a little bit behind the times. Let's hear the winding action on this watch. Not too bad. Now, this is a very nice rubber strap here. I would say it's more of a silicone, actually. And there's definitely plenty of room here. I actually, when I tried it on, I actually needed a mouse to to actually make this fit on my wrist for some wrist shots that you're going to see throughout the video. So in order to actually size this, you're going to have to take, yes, a pair of scissors. And that's a very, like, you can't make a mistake here, guys. So what I would recommend if you're going to take scissors to this is you're going to have to just cut a little bit at a time on each side. As you can see the lines here, okay? That's where you're gonna cut along the lines. And here's where you're gonna reset the spring bar so that it will fit. But they also come with a micro adjust as well. So you do have a lot of adjustment here. So let's take a look. It's double push button, by the way. So let me just get this, let me get this all the way in and show you first. I had the Breitling on the channel just recently, and that was definitely an easier system to maneuver, but I haven't had a lot of practice with this, so let's just see. So yeah, there's, I mean, you could see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5, I would say, like micro adjusts. And there's the clasp there. It is a true milled clasp, and I'll just show you guys the action here. It is a dual trigger as well with that. All right, but yeah, the Breitling actually that I had on the channel, it was just easier to maneuver this. I'm not saying that this is giving me a lot of problems, but at least with the Breitling, like one way I was able to like at least bring it in. Here you got to activate the button for in and out. So I mean, you could just do it that way too. So there you go. It's just a little bit different, that's all. But yeah, very comfortable, supple strap, plenty of movement, flexibility. Don't really have to break it in. Case back, you know, it's a handsome case back. It's got a diver on there. Let's take a look at the crown action here. So let's see where, I always like to see where the date changes, because that to me shows how closely they pay attention to the details. So you could see it starting, and yeah, beautiful, 11:58. So I like that. And then we're going to set it to 6, and I'm going to show you guys the date changes. Quick change. Not as clicky as I'd like it to be. You know, it kind of just rolls along. You know, I like that snappy, like, you know, boom, boom. You know, this one here, it just kind of just rolls along, and I don't feel it in the crown. You know, they're the kind of little details that I like to see in a movement that really makes me feel like I got a quality movement in my hands. But again, just nitpicking here. But yeah, everything is looking pretty nice. It's an attractive looking watch. As you can see, it does have plenty of AR coating underneath the crystal. But yeah, handsome watch. Let me take some measurements here for you before we conclude. All right, measurement wise, I believe we're looking at a 43, but I just want to just double check. Don't always believe what I read. So we're getting, yes, a 42.66, so that's going to be a 43. Thickness, the watch doesn't wear thick on the wrist, so let's just see that. We're looking at, wow, very thin. Thin. I like the thinness. So we're looking at 11 millimeters there. Our lug to lug is another important measurement that people really sometimes forget, but it's very important because of how it wears on the wrist. So we're actually looking at it right around a 45 and a half. Okay, that's not too bad at all. So that's going to wear very nicely on the wrist. And there's your crown right here, and you got like your gear looking grip there. But again, I like the polishing and the satin finishing, the brushing. I think it's a really stark, nice contrast. The strap fits in here like a glove. You know, it's definitely made for the watch, and gives it that real, just, you know, quality look. I mean, there's usually with brands that are not luxury, there's usually a little bits of gap. This one here, this one fits pretty well, pretty well. So, but yeah, there you go. My overall impression, $3,300. I think it's a bit much for what you're getting here. But again, I always like to say price is subjective. But for me, I think it's very expensive for this particular watch. I think this watch here, I'd like to see it in the 2,000 range. So there you go. That's my 2 cents. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on Average Joe Watch Reviews. God bless, my friends.